Well, with more on what to expect from Mr. Blinken's visit to Kiev, I'm joined now by Michel Baranowski of the German Marshall Fund in Warsaw. Thanks very much for coming on to Good Morning Europe. Now, Washington says this is a big show of support for Kiev. Will that be enough to deter aggression from Moscow, though?
You know, so far it seems to be working. So let's look what happened over the last couple of weeks. We had basically an information operation on the part of Putin, sending, but very openly, lots of additional forces to the border with Ukraine, up to 150,000. Then there was a show of Western support for Ukraine, including a phone call between President Biden and Zelensky. President Biden also agreed to meet with Putin at a later stage. And now the Russians are saying, OK, we are going to pull back, somewhat at least. So far it's working, but it's certainly not over yet because the troops that have pulled back left their equipment. So it's easy for them to go back and threaten Ukraine just as they did about a month ago.
There's been a lot of shuttle diplomacy recently between Ukrainian leaders and Europe and the West. Is this leading up to something bigger, do you think, in terms of EU accession or NATO membership?
Unfortunately, it's quite unlikely that we will see any of that kind of breakthroughs. Ukraine indeed asked for faster path of admission to both EU and NATO. It asked for membership action plan. These are ongoing conversations for a very, very long time. I would say that don't think that we will see a huge breakthrough before the frozen and not so frozen conflict in Donbas is resolved. But what we are hoping to see is that with new Biden administration, there could be another round of negotiations over the status of Donbas, and Ukraine's sovereignty can be supported not only by the Europeans as it has been until this point through the Normandy format, but also by the United States.
Now, domestically, Washington is also saying that Ukraine needs to get its own house in order in terms of reform and corruption. How serious a problem is that, and how difficult will it be to clean up?
It's a serious problem. It's unfortunately an endemic problem going on for many years. But President Zelensky has indeed made progress in this area. And in fact, Putin's threats and this show of force from March and April has to do also with the fact that some of his cronies, some of the Ukrainian oligarchs who are close to Putin, have been cut out. So Zelensky is making a progress, and it's something that is important both for the Ukrainian society, but also for the international community. And here, Secretary Blinken, I'm sure, is going to have a message of tough love to Ukraine to continue with the efforts and also to speed them up.
Michel Baranowski from the German Marshall Fund of the United States, thanks very much for that analysis.